Hello, Eagles. This is Miss Gildart. I'm your Dungeons & Dragons Club advisor. You're probably wondering, if you're watching this video, what is Dungeons & Dragons Club? So I'm glad to share that information with you so that you can come join us on Mondays at 3 o'clock to play some Dungeons & Dragons together. So your first question might be, well, what is Dungeons & Dragons anyway? Maybe you've heard about Dungeons & Dragons referenced in a TV show like Stranger Things, where some of the characters play Dungeons & Dragons. Or maybe you've just heard the term and you've never really learned anything more about what it is. So let me tell you first, what is Dungeons & Dragons? Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game. When we break up those three words together, it is a game, which means it's something we do for fun, where we play roles, where we take on the identities of fantasy characters, and we play together around a tabletop. Now, the tabletop we'll play together around in Dungeons & Dragons Club for right now will be a virtual tabletop, but you can also play it in person with your friends, hopefully someday soon. In Dungeons & Dragons, you create a fantasy character that has magical abilities or super cool strengths, and you go on adventures with your friends. This is a collaborative game, which means it's a little bit different from competitive games like Uno or Monopoly, where there's always one winner and everybody else loses. In Dungeons & Dragons, we win and lose together as a team. So let's say the challenge is that the team together has to go find the lost treasure in the jungle. You're going to work together to try and survive traveling through the jungle and through finding where that lost treasure is at. And maybe you'll have to undo curses, or maybe you'll have to defeat enemies, or maybe you'll have to get around some clever traps that are trying to stop you from getting the lost treasure. All of the characters have different strengths, and they work together to solve the problem and save the day. Often there are many different ways to solve a problem in Dungeons & Dragons, so it's a game that's really good for creativity and for building your collaboration skills and for coming up with interesting solutions to problems. So what do we do at Dungeons & Dragons Club exactly? One of the main things that we do at Dungeons & Dragons Club is we practice how to build characters. We learn the rules and we play the game. So practicing how to build characters will help you so that even if you decide to play games with friends outside of Dungeons & Dragons Club, like maybe you form up your own group later on in high school or whatever, or maybe when you go to college, you find the Dungeons & Dragons Club there. If you know how to build characters, it's pretty much the same, no matter what kind of character you are. So it's one of the basic skills for playing the game is making characters. And it's a lot of fun to make characters too and come up with cool ideas for characters. We also learn about the rules for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Just like any game or any sport, games have rules, and the rules are what make the game fair and equitable and fun. So we will learn about how do we follow the rules and what are the rules for different situations in Dungeons & Dragons. We will, of course, play Dungeons & Dragons. Sometimes students will be the game master and they'll lead the game and tell the story, and sometimes I'll lead a game. So it will be a lot of fun. Some of the games are games that are called pre-written campaigns that are long stories that will play over a whole lot of time, over multiple weeks. And some of them are what we call one-shots that we play just in one session really quick when we're all together. We can also share artwork and stories about our characters and the adventures that they go on. So if you just like to create characters and come up with fun ideas and tell stories, you can also come to Dungeons & Dragons Club and hang out with us just for doing art and telling stories. Even if you don't like doing the mechanical game playing parts, you can still just make characters and share art and tell stories. Now, if all of this sounds like something that you want to do, we meet on Mondays from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock in Microsoft Teams. If you want to join the official club team for more resources and opportunities to play outside of weekly meetings, you can ask Miss Gildart and she'll add you today. I look forward to seeing you at Dungeons & Dragons Club, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day and find lots of wonderful ways to spend your time.